I tracked what I wore for 1 week. Each day, I was wearing something different, and I felt different about myself every time. I listed down what I wore and what was my confidence level like. From this activity, I made few discoveries about myself that I wasn't aware of. For example, I feel more confident when I wear lesser colors, but my confidence drops when I mix more colors in one outfit. Black is the color that makes me most confident, and I prefer neutral and warm colors to bright and pastel colors. Riding the concept of appearance, I looked into beauty standards. What's a really prominent tool that sets beauty ideals and is used by many? Beauty filters. A lot of us use them. I love taking selfies, and my selfie game wouldn't be complete without a beauty filter. They're like the quicker and digital version of putting makeup on. You open your camera, pick a filter, bam, you're flawless in just a matter of seconds. But I realized some of these beauty filters changed not only my face, but also my skin color. A big chunk of them made my skin lighter. In an article written by Tate Ryan Mosley, they discussed how beauty filters are perpetuating colorism. Who would have thought? This was debated mainly because of the skin lightening feature that can be found in many beauty filters. Social media apps like Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, and Facebook all have this. Social media is trying to enforce a certain beauty standard onto users. Indirectly, lighter skin is the trend and what makes a person considered attractive. By definition, colorism is the act of prejudice or discrimination towards people of darker skin, usually favoring lighter skin. And without us realizing it, the algorithm ingrains colorist ideas of beauty. Colorism is nothing new in Malaysia. There has been many cases of people signing up for high-risk beauty procedures such as whitening drips, which includes the use of injectable skin whitening products that contain glutathione. Unregulated use of this chemical can pose serious health risks and, to a certain extent, death. Another method is whitening creams. They can be just as harmful because they usually contain dangerous ingredients like mercury. Skin exposure to mercury can lead to health effects such as skin rashes and skin discoloration or scarring. However, the topic of how beauty filters perpetuate colorism is not acknowledged by many, and colorism is certainly not something you would link to beauty filters instantly upon one look, but requires deep, insightful research. I conducted a survey to gather people's opinions, thoughts, and knowledge about the relationship between beauty filters and colorism. This online survey is part of my primary research. Divided into 4 sections, the first section is about the demographics, such as age, gender, average amount of social media users, and beauty filter users. The second section is meant to test people's awareness about colorism. I asked respondents how common they think colorism happened in Malaysia, and it seems majority of the answers incline towards the often side with the levels of 4 and 5. 54.3% of them agreed toxic beauty standards is the main factor that keeps colorism alive. The third section introduces beauty filters with questions that help me observe respondents' behavior or use of beauty filters and their opinions about beauty filters. Although in section A, this question showed similar amounts of respondents that don't use filters often and respondents that use them often, 65.7% of them answered no to using skin lightening beauty filters. The last section is a wrap-up to the questions, which includes their overall thoughts about this topic as a whole and what are their hopes in the future. When asked if they agree beauty filters are colorist, 12 respondents answered yes, 11 said no, and the remaining are somewhere in between. The most common reason to answering yes is them acknowledging the prejudice and bias towards lighter skin in these beauty filters. For no, most reasoned with filters being merely a fun, lighthearted aesthetic tool. The remaining are in between yes and no by stating specific reasons that can change the answer, such as the user's intention and the type of beauty filter. Lastly, majority answered stop adhering to beauty standards as the most effective solution to tackling insecurities stemming from beauty filters. Besides the survey, I also did Instagram postings to ask what my followers think about those who use skin lightening beauty filters and why they use beauty filters. From the answers gathered, majority don't see a problem in using skin lightening beauty filters, and many mentioned beauty standards as the reason to using beauty filters, which is similar to the results from my online survey. Under secondary research, I looked for materials for my written components. For a wider context, I read articles that explain the history of colorism and where colorism stands in Malaysia. And for specific context, I read articles about the impact of colorism on beauty standards. Another activity we had to do was the on signs. I referred to this example of sequence of icon, index, and symbol, and it helped me identify the three types better. I thought of keywords and scenarios, then tried to draw icons, indexes, and symbols that can be connected together to form a complete sequence. I looked for references and studied these text-based, message-driven infographics. In these visuals, they introduce a message and provide data to back up the topic. From the collected data, I finally concluded that beauty filters are not as big of a contributor to colorism compared to beauty standards. So I focused on only certain questions and data from my survey to include in the infographic that relate to my message. Here are my sketches and process for the infographic. And this is the final outcome. As you can see, the infographic concludes certain questions from the survey, and I further elaborate them with explanations and extra data from secondary research, which are articles. The rest are made up of my observations survey. My overall message is to introduce the fact that beauty filters are not the biggest issue to colorism, but instead, beauty standards are what needs to be concerned upon more. Moving on to part B, the idea I have as of now is to execute an interactive physical space. Emphasizing the filter experience, I want to create a space for people to try filters on and collect faces of different participants with and without the beauty filter. The purpose is to observe how many people are willing to choose filter or non-filter or both. This has been brought to you by Nazifa Zahara binti Maslan. Thank you.